What is going on, guys? My name is Cosmo vs. Goku, and welcome to our third ever Journeyman Abridged cast interview. Today, I'm joined by the voice of Iruka Umino, Zabuza Momochi, and Obito Uchiha, as well as so many more, Omega. Now, before we get started, these interviews are only available in part on YouTube. However, the full interview can be heard exclusively on our Patreon page, over at patreon.com/Journeyman Abridged. Let's get started. How are you doing today?
Hey guys, how's it going? Good to be here.
First and foremost, for those that don't know, who do you play in Naruto and in Digimon?
I prominently play Zabuza and Obito, and in the Digimon series, I play Shueishamon. And I completely screwed it up because that is Shueisha, the fucking company.
Do you mean
Shueishamon, go!
Do you mean Tsukaumon?
Tsukaumon, yes.
Yep. And how did you get involved?
I've been involved in the series since the original FMA Brotherhood series that was produced by you.
Long time ago.
Yes, many years ago. And then when you told me that you were restarting the Abridged series or the Abridged crew, then I had to jump back on board. Too much fun to be had.
Who did you play in FMA?
I played Scar's brother Scratch and a couple of the the Chimera.
Ah, yes, you played what's the guy's name? His name escapes me now.
No, it's not Heinkel. Heinkel?
No, that was Rising Revenge played Heinkel.
Right.
I can't remember who
Starts
you
with a
played.
Z. Spiky guy.
Sampuko or something. It's been a long time.
It's too long.
So that's awesome that you've been involved with abridging and voice acting for so long. But how did you get involved with FMA? That's a long time ago now.
I was actually brought in by one of our other members, Bane, who mentioned that this was all going on, and I thought that I might as well give it a shot. Can't hurt to try, and then a couple of interviews later, here we are.
Here we are, and you're playing Zabuza and Iruka, Obito, playing so many important characters to Naruto's development. What's that like?
It's really good to be really integrated into the story in itself, to play pivotal roles throughout the series that really drive the story forward.
That's good, man. That's good. And for me as well, it's really nice to hear your range, how much it's improved, because we've known each other for nearly 10 years, which is really scary to think about.
Holy shit, it's been 10 years.
You know, near enough.
Yeah.
And it's just insane to hear how much your range has changed from... Admittedly, I didn't think your range was going to expand to what it is today, to be able to have such a diverse...
That squeaky little kid doing Zabuza. From Scar's brother Scratch to a monster.
I think the biggest missed opportunity there is not calling him Move Faster and calling him Scratch instead.
So many missed opportunities.
Speaking of missed opportunities, why did you pick Omega as a screen name?
Honestly, it's been...
Out of everything, I'm not trying to... that was just a really, really bad segue.
It's just been a long time. I genuinely don't remember where Omega popped up from. I just remember it being a thing that's always intrigued me in some way.
Yeah.
And it just kind of stuck after a while.
Just the name, or just the word Omega, or...
Just the possibility, like, throughout history, Alpha and Omega has always been the beginning and the end. So, there's got to be an end to something. Might as well be the end.
Yeah, I get that completely. Also a little bit of nice poetry, because the Greek symbol for Omega is almost like an Ouroboros.
Exactly.
The snake that eats itself, and you came in during our time on FMA. For those that don't know, myself and a couple of other cast members, Impolite by Rising Avenged, a cast member that's going to be joining the series for Digimon Adventure 02, Bane, and a couple of other people, NPC as well. We come from doing a series called The FMA Bridge by the Brotherhood. We did all of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. We got the last episode up 2 weeks after we got it up. YouTube nuked our channel. And we lost everything, because the external hard drive died at the same time. So, for these guys, it's been a long time coming into such a small series compared to something so massive like Naruto. So, what is your relationship with Naruto, both the series and the character, and also with Digimon? Because I know you don't have many roles in Digimon just yet, but in the future, of course, you will. Tell us about the relationship with those two franchises, series, and characters in general.
Well, I first was introduced through Naruto through a very old TV show called Cheese TV, which was on Australian TV show for many years, and then it was cut for one reason or another. And I remember just waking up every morning to watch Naruto and a few other series religiously until about episode 40, where I actually just kind of stopped, and then was kind of reintroduced to it a few years later when I just religiously binged it.
Was Naruto on Cheese TV? Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, it was like that.
Wow.
In One Piece, it was about 40 episodes of it was where that kind of got cut off. So that was, to my knowledge, like so long for Naruto, and then to go back and watch it and find out it was like the first small arc. There was like so much further than that of just solid story. And Digimon, that's just been ingrained in me since I was a kid.
What was the first episode of Digimon you saw?
Oh, I can't even remember. I remember Greymon popping up, and there was a giant bird. And that
So
was
you
like,
remember Greymon and
that exactly.
Dramon!
That was like the first memory of Digimon I had.
Yep.
And to see the series come so far as it has, even to get a reboot or remake, I've yet to actually delve into that.
Get on it, dude. It's so good. Like,
It's on my list.
I had so many reservations early on, but it's actually playing out in a really interesting way. I'm really enjoying it.
Is it a remake or is it a
It's a complete reboot.
Okay, then I'll definitely have to get on that.
It's not a continuation of such. It's not like Try or anything like that.
So it's like a complete reboot of the series.
Yeah, characters are meeting for the first time. We're getting to the digital world for the first time.
Right.
It looks like the first arc's main villain is going to be Devimon in some kind of holy war.
Ooh, okay.
It's really fucking cool. I'm really excited for it, so absolutely get on it.
Oh, God, I have to get to my horde of anime list I'm getting through. I'm finally starting to get back onto it.
Yeah.
But, life.
That's it. Is your list as long as Bane's?
I have no idea. We have yet to compare lists. But it's about as long as the fucking series itself.
So, the reason I bring up Bane is how do you find acting alongside your brother?
At first, it was a little bit weird, but hearing the ranges between myself and him during the recording sessions it's really scary how similar we have in the ranges, that we can actually drive home a lot of the duos of characters that I would never imagine doing.
Like, Obito and Madara.
Exactly. After hearing how scary we are together alongside it's going to make for a bunch of awesome moments for the series.
I'm trying to remember which other character you guys play as a duo. There's Madara and Obito. There's Black and White Zetsu.
Yes.
There's also Matt and TK, because obviously you're not playing TK as a kid. That role has gone to Shy Ghost, but you're playing TK from 02 onwards through Try and so forth. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that brotherly bond continues on. And I'm not too sure if... Sorry, go on.
There's going to be a lot of good dynamics between the two of us. I'm really, really keen to see how it progresses.
Everything I've heard so far, it's been fantastic. I'm loving both of you guys' work. Completely loving it. And I don't know if I've told you this or not before, but one of the directions I gave to Bane is that when Matt is talking to TK, try and envision like he himself is talking to you.
Yeah.
And I give the same thing to NPC. He plays Ty, and he's got a baby sister. Well, she's not a baby now. She's like 10 years old or something crazy now.
Jeez.
But obviously Ty and Kari, and I give him the same direction. When you're talking to Kari or about Kari as Ty, picture your little sister. How would you talk to your little sister and infuse that psychology?
Right.
And it brings it out, and I'll give you the same direction when you're playing TK opposite Matt. It's going to be some really, really cool stuff. I'm actually regretting that as we speak right now, Gotsumon and Pumpkinmon, who you guys were cast as, have been cut.
Yeah.
But I'm almost wondering if it's possible to reintroduce those characters at some stage, because you guys have incredible chemistry, and I want to get that working wherever we can.
Absolutely.
What other roles do you have within Journeyman Abridged? We've talked a little bit about the past, but do you have any other roles currently within our team?
I've got a few small roles that I believe have sprung throughout the series. I'm trying to get in on a few more of the Digimon a little bit through the later parts of the series.
So like Tamers and Frontier, or...
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Are you enjoying those series?
I'm loving it.
Which one are you watching at the moment?
I attempted Tamers recently to see how that was going, and it's everything that I remember it to be.
Is that a bad thing?
Not necessarily. It's definitely got a solid story from what I remember, and it's bringing back a lot of the childhood memories that I had from watching the original series of Digimon.
I love Tamers. Tamers is probably my favorite Digimon anime. I love the story, and Beelzemon is a badass. Like,
it's just nostalgia in its purest form.
And unfortunately, that's what Toei has banked all of Digimon Adventure on in the last couple of years, with Try and Kizuna, and then the reboot anime. It's been nostalgia-driven.
Exactly.
Hopefully that pays off for the best, because in a recent episode of Digimon, Meicumon's canon megaform appears in one shot. I'm like, ooh, that's a bit interesting. So I'm really excited. Like, obviously, by the time this goes out, we might know already, but I'm really interested to see how that pays off and how that comes together. If there's any connection there at all between Meiko and Meikumon and the reboot anime.
Yeah, exactly.
And that universe. So on the note of characters and all of that sort of stuff, do you have a favorite character that you play?
Honestly, playing Zabuza was such a joy, despite the night of endless screaming.
Oh, yeah. That was at like a 9 o'clock session or something we started?
It was, and my throat still hates me for that day. but it was such a joy.
Yeah.
Because ever since the more recent parts of the series, I've been really looking to get into like the deeper tone of characters to really flex the deep voice that I'm trying to portray. And so once I get into older Obito and Zabuza in the later parts of the series, it's really going to drive that home.
Well, are you able to do a quick demonstration between Obito's voice and, say, Zukalmon's voice? So we can hear where your range began when you started, because Obito was one of the first sessions we did for Naruto and Digimon, where your range really was and where you're focusing it on, versus the most recent session we did for Zukalmon, which by the time this goes out, it's not a spoiler, Zukalmon's in episode 1 of Digimon. So I'd love to hear those two voices side by side, if you can, of course.
Oh, absolutely. We've got Obito, which is honestly one of my favorite characters in the series.
Maybe say something about Rin or something.
Oh my god, Kakashi, you actually stabbed Rin in the chest! God damn it, Kakashi! To kind of contrast it with Zukalmon, which is a lot more of the elegant, oh, well then, it's going to be a lot of fun, isn't it?
Oh, it's so good. I love that voice.
Definitely gives a contrast of like the high-pitched voice that I'm just able to get with the more of the deep, elegant voice.
I have the same thing. Let's throw back to FMA. In that series, I played Edward Elric, the Full Metal Alchemist. And I also played... Oops, that wasn't deep enough. I also played... Fuck, I can't do it right now. I also played Roy Mustang. And for some reason, I can't get the pitch right now. I think it's because my throat's tired after being at work all day, but... My name... Yeah, I can't do it. But when I first started doing the voices, they were almost side by side. So I understand how important it is to work and to then develop so the voices that you create and you rely on for this type of work do go down divergent paths.
Exactly.
In terms of where they sit in your throat and in your mouth and how easy you come back to the voices. Do you have a favorite line?
Oh, there's so many to choose from. Definitely.
I know, that's why I wanted to bring it up right there and then while we were thinking about,
There's definitely a lot of the Zabuza cuts through that session were really good. Just a few of the different kind of, like, the snarky bits of Zabuza were always fun to play.
Like that line that you have in...
Yes, yeah, that was such a good line to chuck in there, and it gave me joy to do that.
And I'm so glad that you've been able to find Zabuza's voice so clearly. Because I think for a lot of people, it would be hard to find that voice after not doing it for so long.
Yeah.
And to then just come straight back into it, even for just one line, it's so... Oh, I love it. I love it.
It was such a good session.
Speaking of great sessions and great scenes, do you have any favorite scenes that we've done? Not necessarily scenes you're in, but in general.
I definitely enjoyed doing the Zabuza's death scene, or that entire little scenario was definitely fun to play. With him just like running and cutting down all the bandits and then killing the mob boss right at the end was just a joy.
Fatality.
Yeah, exactly. Such a joy.
Do you have any favorite scenes as Iruka or as Obito or any other characters you've played?
Honestly, again, towards the end of Iruka's part in the early episodes where he was having that real touching moment with Naruto, it just kind of got to be a little bit...
In the forest with, here's my headband. Oh, it smells like new car smell.
Just kind of gave the feel like it's passing on the mantle to Naruto that really kickstarts his confidence of him knowing that he can push through the ninja world to become the Hokage.
Yeah. I really do love the relationship between Iruka and Naruto. I've told you about what the original plan was for Iruka, yeah?
Yeah.
So, for those that don't know, we were going to kill Iruka. He was going to die in that scene, and we were just going to write around him for the rest of the series. And we worked out it was completely possible to do up until Naruto asks Iruka to be his father at his wedding. It was completely possible to do.
But where would the fun in that be?
Yeah. Well, you'd be a voice down.
Darn it.
Which would probably be good for your throat, but I'd give you something else in the meantime.
You wouldn't let me off that easily.
I really wouldn't. So if those guys are your favorite characters to play, do you have a least favorite character to play?
Honestly, no. Every character I'm given the chance to bring to life is just another challenge along the way.
So you can't even rank them from favorite to not the top favorite?
I'd like to, but it's tough.
Just can't bring yourself to do it?
If I absolutely had to, I could only rank my favorite as Obito. But I'm biased because he's my favorite character throughout the series.
Absolutely. No, I get that. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how you play Obito through Shippuden.
I'm so keen to give that a shot.
And Toby and the Toby quote-unquote persona.
Spoilers, everyone.
Oh, yeah, because we're totally not spoiling that in our return episode.
Sorry to spoil months after the series is gone, guys. It's not like we warned you or anything.
Speaking of least favorite characters, I suppose the best segue from there is when you look at the characters between Naruto and Digimon, past, present, future, is there any characters you look at and say, damn, I wish I was playing that character?
I definitely would have liked to give Kisame a try. He's always been one of my favorite parts of the Akatsuki next to Toby, and subsequently Obito.
Seven Swordsmen of the Mist, I see the connection.
He's definitely got that deeper voice that I'm really trying to embody through Zabuza.
In that case, what does Kisame, as played by Omega, sound like?
That's a good point. God, it's been a while since I've heard Kisame's voice. But I definitely kind of follow along with the Digimon voice of like the more of the elegant kind of style and just still have the deep voice. Let's go, Itachi. Time for another round. Well, it would have been a fun role to play, but I'm looking forward to NPC's attempt at it.
Thank you so much for listening to the third ever cast interview. We hope you enjoyed this insight into the world of Journeyman Abridged. And remember that the full interview can be heard exclusively on our Patreon page. And thank you so much to our friend the Curly Cartoonist over on Twitter at Curly Cartoonist for her work on our personalized avatars. We'll see you in the next one coming in just a few months when I sit down with the voice of Madara Uchiha, Black Zetsu, Matt Ishida, and so many more. Bane!